The running mate pick to Donald Trump is it doesn't even flip votes the other way. Like it's not a selection that you go, hey, it's going to immediately have these undecided people vote Republican because J.D. Vance is going to bring people together. This was a terrible selection for vice president. They could have done a lot better. Quite frankly, youth and inexperience doesn't have anything to do with it. Because Obama he wasn't a great president, but he was a very good president. But Obama also had inexperience before he went into office. I think he became a senator, I think around 2005, 2006, and then he immediately became president in 2008 after becoming a community organizer. This guy just briefly wrote a memoir. He wasn't a combat Marine. I think he was a reporter in the Marines, but he wasn't serving in the hand combat over at Iraq. But he was basically a writer before he went into politics. So I won't use experience against JD Vance, but his stances against women is going to absolutely be weaponized against the Republican Party. He was against abortion in cases of rape and incest, and I'm sure women can't be happy about that because let's not forget Roe versus Wade was overturned in 2022, I think it was. So the Dems are going to do anything to get women out to vote. And this stance by Vance doesn't cut it. He also said, well, he did call Donald Trump a rapist, so he's a hypocrite in that regard. We know Trump and Clinton were friends with Epstein. We know what happened with the department store. So that's the other thing. Is the Democrats are going to weaponize his past comments against Trump. They're going to play these comments in the ads. These independent, undecided people, when they hear these comments by J.D. Vance, they're going to say, hey, why the 180 degrees? And for those people that say, well, his opinion can change over time. How gullible do you have to be? How gullible do people have to be? He only changed his opinion because he wants political power. He ran for office in 2021. He only changed his stances because he wants power. He's an opportunist politician who simply wants power. He wants status. So he will sacrifice whatever principles he had left so he could try to give himself power to become vice president. He didn't change his opinion over time because your opinion can change with more information. No, he changed his opinion because he got into politics and he wants to be vice president. He will sell his soul to work alongside Donald Trump, even if he doesn't like Donald Trump. He just wants the status of being vice president and running for president someday. This is all this guy cares about. He has no principles whatsoever. This guy's a complete sellout. And of course, he is in favor of a national ban against abortion. So this guy doesn't cut it. And again, he's also against climate change. So he's gonna cater to the fossil fuel interests of the Republican Party. But basically, what 2028 is about. What I think 2028 is about is that they're going to go away from Trump, and then they're going to become more liberal for some of these key social issues, such as women's reproductive rights and the fight against climate change. That's basically what will make the Republican Party electable again, is once they change their stance on abortion and climate change. The Republican Party has nothing to offer to these younger voters that deeply care about these issues, especially about reproductive rights if you're younger women, especially about the climate if you're concerned about the future of the planet. These older people will be like, I won't be here. I don't care. We're not going to have electric cars. I don't care. I won't be here. Screw the future. Seriously, that's a selfish future. You should care about the future of your grandkids. This is entirely selfish. The voting the Republican Party is entirely selfish for the future of the planet. Biden passed the new Green New Deal. Trump and the Republicans won't do anything to combat climate change because they're completely in the pocket of big oil. This is easy. This was a big score for Biden. All he has to do is replay the comments Vance made about Donald Trump being the modern Hitler, because he's absolutely right about that. But what if Trump, in a way, kind of selected J.D. Vance because you're right, maybe for the wrong reasons that you think I'm the modern day Hitler, but Donald Trump loved his comments because he sees who the real Donald Trump is. That he wants to become an outright authoritarian demagogue should he become president, because he wants to avoid the prosecution of his bankruptcy and criminal court cases for the duration of his life. This is the end game as far as Donald Trump is concerned. This is why he incited an insurrection, because he wanted to keep a hold of his presidential immunity. And J.D. Vance is not very charismatic at all. This might as well be the new Sarah Palin. This election year doesn't bring in independence. And as a matter of fact, I have proof that this election for J.D. Vance has done damage. Some people have said they switched their vote from Trump to Biden because of this election for J.D. Vance, because of his past comments about Donald Trump, because of his stances towards women's reproductive rights, because of his stances against the fight against climate change. And Ohio is not a battleground state. Now, it's true that Kamala wasn't from a battleground state, and still it helped the Democrats. It didn't hurt the Democrats. I thought Trump should have gone with someone in a key battleground state if he were concerned about the prospects of being elected. This is a mediocre selection at best. Tim Scott didn't have a chance because he's black, and Donald Trump is never going to have a black man running aside him. And Trump was never going to have a woman or a brown person be his running mate. So Ramaswamy never had a chance, and he said he didn't want to be vice president right away. I believe him. He's another phony politician too. Kamala would sell her values, sell her soul to be the running mate of Joe Biden. And same thing with J.D. Vance. This is a nasty game. I'm that little girl that was segregated, Kamala Harris. It didn't matter. She just wants the power. J.D. Vance correctly asserting that Donald Trump is a dangerous, authoritative demagogue, the next Hitler. But it doesn't matter because all he cares about is money and power. This is all he cares about. J.D. Vance offers nothing for working people. This guy's basically not from Ohio. He grew up in Ohio, yes. But basically, he was a Silicon elite in California. He was one of these tech boys in California. He won't give a flying fuck about working rural people. He was living in San Francisco before he decided, hey, I'm going to get into politics. I'm going to work my way up the ladder. I'm going to move to Ohio. So J.D. Vance was a venture capitalist in California, working alongside all these big tech elites that many of these Republican voters hate, and they loathe them. They loathe these big tech liberal elites. J.D. Vance is working with these people in San Francisco. So this guy's a joke. This guy, um, I think, is like Mitt Romney. He's not charismatic. He doesn't bring people in, and he doesn't even unite the country. Let's try to have more gun control. Let's solve this issue. Bring people together. What does this hate monger do? He immediately blames it on the Democrats. He blamed the Trump assassination attempt on the Democrats, but which party is for the gun control? The Democrats. Which party wants anyone to have a gun? Have no security measures? Republican Party, the National Rifle Association, the NRA. So this guy is it's everything that's wrong with the country. Not bringing people together, negative hate energy from Donald Trump that people are just, quite frankly, sick and tired about. It's not just independents, it's not just Democrats, it's people on the right too. Because people who voted for Biden in 2020, they voted Republican for all the other elections, with the exception of the presidential election. This is yet another reason why Joe Biden's going to win. Joe Biden has not had a recession that the Republicans desperately prayed for, which I did predict would happen during the Donald Trump presidency. The deficit has been brought down. Tax rates have gone up. Obamacare has been expanded. Biden has bought back chips and semiconductor jobs to America. He has created new green energy jobs in America. The bipartisan infrastructure bill we never got with Donald Trump, we did get with Joe Biden. Joe Biden has done far more in even halfway through his first term than Donald Trump has done through the entirety of his presidency. I'm not seeing J.D. Vance. They could have gone with a much better pick than J.D. Vance. These past comments that he had, all Biden has to do is play his comments through the airwaves. These people don't follow the news every day. They're to listen to J.D. Vance. They're going to think he's got no principles whatsoever. He's another politician, is what they're going to get from these advertisements that we're going to hear replaying his comments about Donald Trump. And we know that preserving democracy is one of the key issues to the election. Well, not the only issue, because there's a lot of one-issue voters and a myriad of issues to come down to in the ballot boxes. Which ones matter more than the others? And I think democracy is going to be on the top, and especially for people down from 20 to 30 to maybe 35 years of age, the climate will be an issue. We won't see this new platform until Ivanka emerges from the shadows. When we see a change in stance on abortion and climate change is when the GOP will become electable again, is my theory. So I am rolling with Biden for this election. In 2028, I do think the Republican Party may win the election in 2028. Certainly, this will probably be a much closer election than 2020. But now this election, it's a couple of key issues that are going to cost the Republican Party. The reversal of Roe versus Wade by the conservative Supreme Court, I think, is going to be the most costly stance that is going to cost the Republican Party. The percentage of women vote that they need to win. Obviously, more women vote for Democrat, but surprisingly, more women voted for Trump around than 2016. He did very well with the white women vote in 2020. That was to my surprise. Now, when they hear about the Roe versus Wade reversal, when they hear about J.D. Vance's comments about staying in abusive relationships instead of divorce for the children, so it's okay for domestic violence. It's more important about staying together. It's not about avoiding any more domestic violence. So these kind of comments by J.D. Vance are going to come back to bite him inevitably.